Imagine a future where robots, humanoid robots, are maybe as common as cars. Well, there are two titans really battling to define that future right now. But their visions, they couldn't be more different. So is it a race for just sheer scale, or is it about ultimate perfection? And who really wins when, the finish line itself seems to be shifting all the time? Today, we're taking a deep dive into this really high-stakes world of humanoid robotics. We're focusing on two major players, Tesla's Optimus and Boston Dynamics' Atlas. We've got a stack of sources here. We're going to try and uncover their distinct philosophies, their strategies, and, well, what it all means for you.
Yeah, it's fascinating because what we're looking at here is a truly fundamental philosophical split. I mean, right down the middle on how you bring these AI robots to life. So on one side, you've got Tesla. They're leveraging all that automotive expertise, their manufacturing muscle, to envision these affordable, mass-produced robots designed for really broad accessibility. And then on the other side, Boston Dynamics, decades, literally decades of foundational research behind them. They're aiming for technical superiority in really specialized, complex solutions. So our mission today really is to break down their strategies, look at their capabilities, and sort of explore the implications of these very, very different paths for the future of AI robotics.
It's quite the strategic chess match, isn't it? Tesla, they jumped into this arena with Optimus, announced back in, 2021. And their whole play seems like this ambitious extension of what they already do. Their automotive AI, their manufacturing, they're pulling it all together. They're thinking big, using that massive automotive scale, pulling in their existing AI and computer vision from the full self-driving program, their FSD, and aiming for a truly disruptive price point, right? Under $30,000. That's the goal. It feels like it's all about mass adoption, getting these robots first into manufacturing, maybe their own factories, and then eventually into our homes.
And that's just such a stark contrast to Boston Dynamics and Atlas. I mean, they are built on decades, literal decades of robotics R&D experience. Plus, they've had these extensive partnerships, even with organizations like DARPA, that's the U.S. Defense Research Agency. DARPA historically funds that really groundbreaking, high-risk, high-reward stuff in robotics. So their strategic DNA, it's rooted in pushing the absolute boundaries. We're talking advanced actuation, first hydraulics, now moving to all-electric systems, incredibly sophisticated balance, mobility algorithms. They're positioning Atlas for those really complex premium applications where technical excellence, reliability, that's paramount. Cost is, well, less of an initial factor. So if you connect this to the bigger picture, right?
Yeah.
Tesla's banking on scalability and cost. That's their disruptor. Boston Dynamics, they're doubling down on pushing the limits of what's technically possible. And this raises a really critical question, I think, about the predictability of this whole market. It's so new. Is one approach inherently more adaptable if things shift unexpectedly? Or are they both just as vulnerable if, say, a third player comes out of nowhere with a breakthrough?
That's a critical point, yeah. Because while Tesla's volume play seems robust, because of their existing infrastructure, that reliance on specific manufacturing lines, it could be a bottleneck if user needs to suddenly pivot. Boston Dynamics, maybe with its research agility, that they might be quicker to retool their offerings, but yeah, at a far higher cost per unit. Yeah, much higher. Thinking about Tesla's strategy, it just strikes me how much they're banking on their existing AI. Optimus, it represents a very pragmatic approach, doesn't it? Emphasizing manufacturability, cost-effectiveness. On the hardware side, okay, it's bipedal locomotion, basic walking, navigation, manipulator arms for lifting, sorting objects, all integrated with Tesla's computer vision systems, which are, pretty well established from the cars. And crucially, it's designed for mass production, using those automotive techniques. Then the software. It directly leverages the FSD neural networks. Real-time object recognition, manipulation. It benefits from Tesla's huge data collection, their training infrastructure, plus those continuous over-the-air updates. But that focus on automotive techniques, it does raise a fascinating question. Can a company really pivot its expertise from cars to something as different as humanoid locomotion and truly compete? Especially against someone who spent decades just focused on that challenge.
That's precisely the tension, isn't it? And Boston Dynamics Atlas, it really does represent the pinnacle right now of humanoid robotics tech, especially in dynamic movement. On the hardware front, they've recently made that big switch from hydraulic to all-electric actuation. And think of it this way. Hydraulics are incredibly powerful, yes, but they can be messy, less precise, sometimes slower to react. It's almost like brute force. all electric. That's like upgrading to this highly tuned, super efficient machine. It gives Atlas the kind of fine-tuned, instantaneous control. It allows it to twist limbs in these incredibly sophisticated ways, makes it far more agile, more capable in complex, unpredictable environments. And their software is just as impressive. Advanced control algorithms for these complex whole-body movements, sophisticated environmental perception, planning, dynamic motion planning, execution, and real-time adaptation. If something changes, it adapts. It's really about achieving peak performance in the most challenging scenarios, where failure just isn't an option.
Okay, so let's pivot now. How do these two titans actually plan to sell these things, these robots? Tesla's strategy, it looks like it's all about rapid scaling, mass penetration. They're aiming for, 5,000 to 10,000 units in 2025, starting with internal deployment, probably in Tesla factories first. Then commercial availability projected for 2026. And that sub-$30,000 price point, that's their whole game changer, right? It feels designed to just blow the doors open for mass accessibility. And their target markets are incredibly broad. Manufacturing, industrial applications, sure, but also domestic tasks, household stuff, the service industry, even personal assistance and companionship.
Whereas Boston Dynamics, they maintain a very clear premium positioning, no ambiguity there. Their market focus is squarely on industrial and manufacturing applications that demand really high precision, robustness, plus those highly specialized commercial applications, so their commercial strategy. It involves limited production volumes, premium pricing, and this unwavering emphasis on technical superiority, reliability. They seem to be leaning into a partnership-based go-to-market approach, targeting those high-value specialized niches where their advanced capabilities, well, they truly shine and they can justify the investment.
Okay, we've touched on their strengths, and they're undeniably formidable on both sides. But, while Tesla's manufacturing scale is impressive, some might argue that the complexity here, humanoid robotics, it goes way beyond just automotive assembly. Is there maybe a risk they're underestimating the fundamental, almost biological challenges of locomotion, human interaction, relying maybe a bit too heavily on past successes?
That's a valid point. Potential challenge, absolutely. Tesla's strength, though, they certainly lie in that manufacturing expertise. The automotive experience gives them a massive leg up in scaling production, supply chains, quality control. They know how to do that at scale. Then there's their AI and data infrastructure. That offers incredible synergy with autonomous driving, vast data collection, those crucial OTA updates, plus their whole integrated ecosystem, right, across vehicles, energy, robotics. That could create some really powerful cross-platform optimizations down the line. And of course, that focus on a low-cost structure, aiming for broad accessibility, potential mass market.
And Boston Dynamics' strengths, what really stands out there?
Well, their strengths really lie in just unparalleled technical excellence, built on decades of focused robotics research, their deep expertise in locomotion, balance, control systems. It's truly hard to match. Very few are in that league. They also have a proven track record, right? Creating robots that perform incredibly complex tasks in really challenging environments. That establishes huge technical credibility. Their R&D partnerships, government funding like DARPA, that's allowed them to push the fundamental science of robotics forward. And let's not forget their brand recognition. Those viral robot videos, they've given them incredible global visibility and, frankly, market credibility just from showing what's possible.
So, okay, we've talked about these impressive arsenals. But like any high-stakes player, they must have their Achilles heel, right? Where are their vulnerabilities?
Well, for Tesla, the technical complexity of humanoid robotics. It is significantly different from automotive. They have to develop entirely new expertise, sophisticated manipulation, dexterous grasping, truly nuanced human-robot interaction. That's not building a car. And their ambitious production timelines. They often face skepticism, don't they, given their history of, delayed deliveries and other ventures, let's be honest. They also face intense competition from companies that do have decades of dedicated robotics experience, established relationships with industrial customers already. Boston Dynamics, on the other hand, they face that perennial challenge, commercial viability. Can they transition from being this research-focused powerhouse to a commercially sustainable enterprise? One that generates consistent revenue. The premium positioning inherently limits their market size, their growth potential, compared to a mass market approach like Tesla's. And they simply lack the large-scale manufacturing expertise that Tesla's has built up. That could really constrain their ability to scale production, even if demand were to suddenly skyrocket.
This paints such a fascinating picture of the future, doesn't it? When we look at industrial applications, Tesla's focus seems to be on those simpler, repetitive tasks, things that can be automated cost-effectively. Assembly line work, material handling, quality control, warehouse ops. Boston Dynamics, meanwhile, they're aiming for the really complex stuff. Complex manipulation tasks, maintenance or inspection in really challenging, maybe dangerous or hard-to-reach locations. Then, if we shift to consumer and service applications, which, let's face it, could be the biggest opportunities way down the line. Tesla's strategy is clearly designed for the mass market. Household tasks, like loading the dishwasher maybe, personal assistance, elderly care, even security. That's a futuristic thought. It's both exciting and maybe a little unsettling. What's your gut feeling on how quickly people will truly embrace, like a robot companion in their living room? Boston Dynamics service applications, they feel more geared toward professional services in challenging environments. Search and rescue, scientific research, maybe high-value personal assistance, where the cost justifies those unique capabilities.
Yeah, looking short term, say the next couple of years, 2025 to 2027, we can probably expect to see limited production deployments of Optimus, likely within Tesla facilities first, maybe gradual expansion to commercial customers. There could certainly be delays in those mass production timelines that wouldn't be surprising. Boston Dynamics Atlas probably continue a focus on technical demonstrations, R&D, maybe limited commercial deployments and highly specialized critical applications. They'll be gradually transitioning from being purely research-driven to a more commercial focus. But looking long-term, 2030 and beyond, Tesla's vision is nothing short of mass deployment. Affordable humanoid robots everywhere, a deep integration across their product ecosystem, a dominant position in consumer robotics, fundamentally transforming labor economics. That's the dream. Boston Dynamics, though, they seem to be aiming for enduring technical leadership in advanced robotics, maintaining that premium position in specialized markets, continuing to innovate in mobility, manipulation, probably through partnership-based expansion. And as for investment, where's the money coming from? Well, Tesla's robotics program benefits hugely from their strong financial position, their proven ability to scale manufacturing, plus those inherent synergies from their existing automotive operations. Boston Dynamics. Their development has historically been supported by significant government contracts, like that DARPA funding we mentioned, and more recently, substantial corporate investment from Hyundai, who acquired them. These diverse funding sources give them stability for their long-term, often high-risk research projects.
And just stepping back from the tech marvels and the business models, as these machines potentially become more integrated into our lives, there are these huge societal implications, considerations that both companies, and really we as a society, need to think about proactively.
Absolutely. Both companies have to navigate these evolving regulatory frameworks. It's complex. We're talking key areas like establishing clear workplace safety standards for human-robot interaction, robust consumer protection regs for domestic robots, stringent privacy and data security requirements, especially for personal robots, and clear liability frameworks who's responsible when an autonomous robot does something unexpected. Which brings us to a really crucial point. Beyond the technical and the business aspects, how do we ensure these incredible machines actually benefit society responsibly? There are profound ethical implications here. The potential impact on employment, on labor markets, and even the evolving nature of human-robot interaction, emotional attachment. These are critical things to consider as these machines get more seamlessly integrated into our daily lives. So, wrapping this up, what does it all mean for the future of robotics?
Our deep dive seems to reveal that, look, the humanoid robotics market is likely large enough for multiple, very different approaches to succeed. It doesn't necessarily feel like a one-winner-takes-all scenario, does it? Tesla shows tremendous promise in manufacturing scale, cost optimization. Boston Dynamics demonstrates undeniable technical superiority in raw performance, dynamic capability. Neither company currently leads across the board. They excel in different yet potentially successful areas.
Exactly. Ultimately, the competition between these two titans, it isn't just about corporate rivalry. It's really about pushing the boundaries of what's possible for humanoid robots and profoundly shaping their role in our society. The real long-term leadership. It might just be defined by who can best navigate that really complex interplay of innovation, market adoption, and crucially, those profound ethical and societal questions these machines inevitably raise. So thinking about all this, what stands out to you as maybe the biggest single factor for success in this whole evolving landscape?